Welcome to the podcast. Today we are talking about one of the greatest outreach opportunities that a church has. We're calling this episode More Than Crafts and Cookies.
Yep.
And just a catchy little title there for you. How to build a vacation Bible school that actually changes lives. And for many churches, VBS is one of the most impactful weeks of the entire year, where children get to hear the gospel. You've got volunteer support. New people that come into your church get an opportunity to serve. And we want to talk about it because the truth of the matter is successful Vacation Bible School is far more than just decorations and skits and snacks, but there is a very, very spiritual side to it that has to reach the hearts of people. So thank you for joining us today, and also joining us today is somebody that knows exactly what it takes to make that happen. She's invested countless of hours into the VBS environment, and for years now, she has been our Vacation Bible School director, and she has watched it grow exponentially over the years. And she is the guru at making it fun, organizing it, assimilating teams. And I wanted to bring her on today to talk about it because obviously we're getting into the summer months and everybody's about to crank up VBS. So I want you to welcome Mrs. Jenny Roach, our Vacation Bible School director. How are you, Jenny?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Life is treating you well.
Life is treating me okay.
And you are getting into the thick of VBS already.
Already, and have been, actually. People don't realize how much I've already been working on VBS and started last year, the week after our Bible school was over. We started on working for this coming year. They are good about releasing the new themes, so we were able to let our kids know what to look forward to for the next year. And also, the volunteers are very invested in it. They want to know what kind of costumes do I need to put together. They're excited about it.
So I got some stats here that I want to start with just for fun.
Yes.
Well, some of them are serious. There's a couple that are fun. And then we're going to tell everybody kind of who you are. I want them to know a little bit about your tenure at our church.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a moment. But talking Vacation Bible School, I pulled some statistics that I think are really interesting. I've used some of these in church before. One of them is that research consistently shows that a large percentage of Christians make their profession of faith before the age of 18, placing the highest concentration between the ages of 4 years old and 14. Isn't it amazing? And how many times have we done this, Jenny, at church where I've said, if you were saved at Vacation Bible School, raise your hand. And it's always generally 75% of the people.
Absolutely.
And so Vacation Bible School, the window for reaching people with the gospel is at its widest during those childhood years. And so we're going to talk about that in a moment. But let me give you a couple more things, Jenny. I don't know if you knew this or not. Some churches report that VBS is their largest children's outreach event.
Makes sense.
I don't think we do one as large. I think it's probably our largest. I mean, we've got large egg hunts and stuff.
But it is our largest.
Yeah, absolutely. It is their highest first-time guest event.
That one kind of surprises me. I guess I would look at maybe a holiday as being that, but that makes sense.
But if you think about it, those parents are bringing those kids, and so they're coming in and picking them up. And so that one blew me away. It is this one I really love, and we're going to talk about this later in the podcast. It is their greatest annual volunteer mobilization event or effort.
Yes, and I can attest to that. We have people who don't serve in any other part of the year or any other time of the year, but they're able to serve during Bible school, and it is wonderful to see.
Yeah, and I remember, I think the first year we came here, we were like a target in like 225 volunteers. What are we up to now?
On a good year, last year we had just over 300 volunteers. Today, this will kind of be a poke for those of you who have not yet registered. We're at about 130.
Okay.
So we're short, obviously, but we're still kind of early, and I haven't poked the bear enough, I think.
All right, we'll keep poking.
Yeah.
Many churches see children attend VBS who do not regularly attend, come from unchurched homes, or have never had a clear presentation of the gospel. Those are some very interesting stats, and so I would just say to the church that's not attempting to do VBS, you probably should consider figuring it out, even if it's a smaller scale, even if you don't know where to start. These statistics are really, really, really unbelievable. Here's a strong line. Sometimes VBS reaches the children first, and then Jesus reaches the whole family through the children.
Absolutely, and I would strongly encourage any church out there, maybe you say, we're a small church. We might only have 25 kids. Let me tell you, it is life-changing for those 25 kids. Those 25 kids deserve an opportunity just like the 1,000 that will darken our door. Don't be afraid to invest your time and efforts into Bible school just because you won't think you have that many kids who show up. Those kids' lives matter.
Absolutely. Let's talk really quickly to start off by volunteer and church impact. VBS often mobilizes more volunteers than nearly any other church. We kind of mentioned that, but it creates opportunities. I love this one, and I want you to speak into this. Yes. Intergenerational ministry. It is
an opportunity for I'm going to speak to it from the children's side first. Some of these children are exposed to adults during the week of Bible school that they're never exposed to any other time. And they have an opportunity for a 70-year-old man to help them make a worm out of a popsicle stick. And it is a great thing for those children to see an older person investing their time in them. But for that older person too, they made a difference.
Sure. Or just a widowed woman putting on some rubber gloves and handing them a chocolate chip cookie and smiling.
That's right.
And so it's a great way for your church to be intergenerational from all ages. I love that. Modern ministry reality in a culture increasingly disconnected from church, VBS may be a child's first church experience, a parent's first interaction with other believers, the first Bible that a child ever receives. All of those are good. And here's my favorite ones. Fun and lighthearted VBS stats. Unofficial VBS statistics says that 97% of glitter used during VBS will still be in the church carpet next Easter.
I would actually expand that and say every Easter for the next 100 years that building stands.
It's not leaving.
Glitter is the bane of my existence. I despise glitter, so I'm going on the record. Don't bring glitter.
All right, how about this one? Every Vacation Bible School volunteer walks at least 14 miles during the week.
And that's probably an underestimation, I'm sorry to say.
Have you ever wore a watch to read those statistics for yourself?
I have my Fitbit every week to let me know exactly what. And most of the time, I have hit the 10,000 mark before Bible school even starts in the evening.
Okay.
So, there's been many nights when it's just said, I'm tired and I don't know how many steps you took.
None of these statistics are meant to scare you guys. They're actually meant to come and get your cardio in for VBS week. It's a great way to spiritually grow and physically get yourself fit. Popsicles melt twice as fast during outdoor game time.
Absolutely.
Ain't no doubt about it. Number 4, children can hear the word snack from over 300 yards away.
Yes, they can. And they can have their head in a hole and still hear the word snack. Absolutely.
It's like a spiritual gift.
Yes.
One worship song, this is my favorite one. One worship song that you sing at Bible school will remain stuck in every volunteer's head for at least 6 months.
So we did a little thing at home. We did an exercise. My son and I, he's now 21. We started with the very first year I directed Bible school, and we went through at least the chorus of every Bible school theme song, and both of us knew them. And then we looked at each other. What just happened?
Wow.
It was an out-of-body experience.
And you remembered them all.
And we remembered the at least
amazing.
the chorus, every single one. And it was a sobering time.
That's
really
amazing.
Was. Yeah.
Well, those are some fun, lighthearted facts. I want to start just really quickly, Jenny, by talking about you. I think I know most of the answers to these questions, but when I have guests on here, I want the people to know who it is that we're talking to. How long have you and Kevin and Keaton, how long you guys been at Clear Springs now? And then just tell us a little bit about some of the things you do at our church. And then introduce me to the Jenny Roach VBS story. How did you kind of fall in that role?
So we started at Clear Springs in 2003, and we joined that year. So we've been members now for 23 years. Keaton obviously was born after that, so he's been in this church since he was born. I came from another fairly large Baptist church, but I'm not from this area. I moved into this area. Kevin was attending. He was a member of another Baptist church we attended for a while. And then when he was ready to kind of make that move, we found Clear Springs. I lived near the church at the old location, and that's how we got to Clear Springs.
And let's talk VBS. Were you serving at VBS here before you became the director, or was it like just feet to the fire?
No, I was serving. I started serving the year after we came. I started working in class, and it was a wonderful experience. I grew up in a small Baptist church and then kind of transitioned over to the Methodist faith. But I was saved in Bible school when I was 7 years old, and it was life-changing. Of course, back in that day, and some churches now still do that, we had daytime Bible school. It was during the day, and there were two wonderful little ladies, Mrs. Ordway and Mrs. Starr, in our community, and their heart was at Bible school in that church. And we were sitting on the porch of the old parsonage, and they led me to Christ that afternoon, and it was a wonderful thing, and Bible school's been near to my heart ever since.
I love that. Do you believe Bible school still matters today?
I know it matters.
Can you? I'm putting you on the cuff, and I don't have no prompt for you here. Mm-hmm. Why does Bible school still matter so much? Let's get the horse before the cart.
It matters because, as you said earlier, for some children, that is their first introduction to the gospel. And it matters because we're doing it in a way that there's not a lot of pressure on these children. They're here to have fun. We want it to be a fun experience, but we take a minute out of that fun and say, let me tell you why we're really here. Let me tell you why we're giving you these snacks and why we're doing this, because God loves you more than you will ever understand. He loves you so much, he sent his child that was just like you. Jesus was just like you, and he wanted to he would have gone to Bible school had there been Bible school in that time. He would have gone to it. And he loved you enough to send him to save your soul, and we want you to know that.
I love it. I'm going to, I don't want to make this uncomfortable for you, and it's not necessarily my goal to throw you on a pedestal, but I'm involved with a lot of churches, and I don't know of a church that does Vacation Bible School better than what we do it. And a lot of that is built on leadership. And we'll talk a little bit about the history of our own Bible school, but part of Between the Trenches is that we want to equip and encourage other churches. And we've got churches, literally, no matter what podcast we do, pastors will reach out to. I just had lunch last week with a pastor from a completely different county that wants to start a discipleship program off of the episode that I did about Anchor Point. And so there's going to be a lot of churches that are going to listen to this. And we've had churches that have traveled from other states and spent 2 or 3 days during our Vacation Bible School to watch how we do it. And so honestly, I mean this, not trying to just blow smoke at you, but I don't know that anybody does it as well as you do. And what I would like to ask you, to the church that's doing, again, this is putting you on the spot really quick, to the church that's currently doing VBS, what word of encouragement would you offer them?
I would say be very honest about who you're trying to reach. If your Bible school is intended for children who don't attend your church, be honest about that. If it's intended to focus on the kids who are in your church, be honest about that. Take a very honest approach to what you want to see come out of your Bible school. And then
it's almost like have a mission statement.
Exactly. You have to have a purpose statement when you go into it, because the way you will approach it will fashion after what your purpose is. But no, you have capable, wonderful people in your church who can do every single section of Bible school. You just may not know that. Yeah. And don't be afraid to reach out to those people and ask them,
utilize them.
Here's what I need from you. I need you. I don't have anything to do with the food during Bible school the weekend because I don't have to, because I've found some people who are willing to do that. Same thing with crafts. You have people in your church who are equipped to do these things. You just need to find them.
Yeah. And what would you say, and I'm going to give you a follow-up question on this, what would you say to the church that feels like we can't do Bible school? We don't have the manpower. We don't have the resources. We're just not going to do it. And they throw their hands up. What would you say to that church or that person listening?
Don't be a quitter. There are small Bible school curriculums out there. You do not have to do a gigantic stage decor. You don't have to do crazy themes, that kind of thing. There are curriculums out there that are made exactly for your church. Look for them. There is a great resource out there. There's a Bible school booklet that goes out every year, and you can access that through Concord Publishing or Concordia Publishing, and it will give you all of the different resources, all of the different publishers, and find one. Don't be afraid to do 3 days at first.
Sure.
If you can't do 5 days of Bible school, start with a 3-day. There are 3-day curriculums out there. Don't be afraid to do that, to go looking, because there's something out there that is made just for your group, just for your size.
Okay, so for the person that's listening to this podcast, they don't know nothing about Justin Pratt, they don't know nothing about Jenny Roach, they don't know nothing about Clear Springs Vacation Bible School. They've just hopped up on this episode. Let's kind of just set and this is not for those watching or listening, this is not self-service here, but I kind of want to set the foundation of who we are. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Yes. How long have you been doing Bible school? This will be my 11th Bible school this year that I've directed. Okay, so we have a seasoned veteran here that's been doing it for over a decade. What was our average last year? Do you remember off the top of your head? It can give or take a little.
The average last year was around 1,100.
All right, so we got 1,100 people in this building.
Yes.
As you could imagine, that is a massive vacation
Yes.
Bible school. How many volunteers were we last year?
About 320, I'm going to say, just a little over 300.
Okay, so my point in asking those questions is for the listener that doesn't know anything about our ministry, we're not dealing with the Bible school with 100 kids here that's got 10 volunteers. This is a church that has we've tested what works.
Yes.
We figured out what doesn't work.
Yes.
We do not have all the answers to every single question. And the thing about Vacation Bible School is it's like every other ministry in church. You have to do what works for your ministry. Right. And so a lot of the things that we're going to talk about are from our experience, what we see works, and we're going to mainly what we want people to hear and see is that Bible school is not just another summer activity.
That's it.
Like, it's not just filling a week. It's got to have purpose. You've
Yes.
already spoken about having a purpose statement, a mission behind why we do it, and we want this to become one of the greatest evangelistic outreach ministries that you have in your church, and so let's talk about what makes a great VBS.
God.
I love it.
Honestly, no matter what we do with our planning, and I tell our volunteers this, and I tell our attendees, be willing to go with whatever God throws in your path, because God is the one ultimately who will decide how that week will go.
Sure.
If he doesn't want us to even get out of the sanctuary on Tuesday night of Bible school, we're not going to. If for some reason the Holy Spirit comes down and it changes everything, we're going to go with whatever God puts in front of us. Be flexible. Yeah. We want to know that we're honoring God in everything that we do.
Well, that is by far the right answer. From a practical side,
yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the vision and the planning, and obviously we may say more about this in a moment. Jenny and I typically will do a night recap, and then every year at the end of the week we do a week recap. And a lot of times I've noticed in that weekly recap, immediately you'll make reference or comment that, well, the new planning starts tomorrow.
Exactly.
Immediately,
yes.
almost out of the gate.
Yes.
So how early do you pick your curriculum, your theme?
Typically, it is picked just prior to our beginning this year. So most likely the new theme will be chosen, or they'll be released about 2 weeks before we start. We do a late Bible school. We're at the end of July. A lot of churches in our area do it during June. They do it earlier in the year. But those curriculums for the next year will be released somewhere around the 1st of July. And so I'll start looking at those. Yeah. And we will have chosen most of the time before we finish our week of Bible school. We'll have already chosen that.
Can we speak into that? You said most churches have already done it.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on trying to, and obviously when you're in a community where there's a lot of churches, a lot of VBSs, but I love what we do. One, we do it late.
Yep.
We always do it the same week. So everybody knows third week of July.
Right.
Third week of July every year. And I love that. But if you're in a community, if a pastor or a VBS director is listening, and they're in a community where there's multiple churches, is there any insight or recommendation you would offer about trying to figure out when other churches are doing it, try to build around so it's collaborative and not competitive?
I would always recommend, and again, I'm going to speak to a church who maybe hasn't had Bible school in a while for whatever reason, or maybe it was during COVID. A lot of churches changed the way they did things during COVID. But if you haven't done, reach out to your other churches, get on the phone with other churches and just say, hey, when are you all doing it? We are within 5 miles of you. We don't want to piggyback on top. There's only been one occasion that I know of that our week of Bible school overlapped another what I would call a larger church here in our area. So they've all been spread out. But these kids will go to multiple Bible schools, and I think that's wonderful.
No, that's great. That's great. Organization.
Yes.
You start really early with that.
Yes.
Let's talk for a minute about I think just within the next 3 or 4 weeks, we have a Monday night meeting coming up.
Yes, we do. It's a little early this year, so that's why I've been encouraging people to get signed up and get registered so that we know you're available to work. It is very important that you be honest about your needs. How many classrooms can you really use in your church? Know how big your space is and how much you can use. You know, there are a lot of churches who are using what's called a mixed age group. They're doing maybe from age 4 up through 5th grade, and they're mixing those kids all together. If that works for your group of kids, be honest about who you're expecting to fashion your Bible school for, and do those mixed ages if that's what works. We don't. We do it by each individual age, and I think it's very important to reach a kid where they are developmentally, and all kids are different. You know, a 12-year-old needs to hear the gospel in a different way than a 7-year-old does. That's just a reality. So I think it's important to know, again, what group you're focusing on, who you're going to be bringing into Bible school, and fashion your organization to match that group.
And I think it's important for churches to know, you used the word flexibility earlier. You got to be flexible with it.
Absolutely.
Because a church that's just launching a Bible school this year, you may have first through third graders all in the same grade.
That's right.
But as that ministry or as that grows, you may have to have a first grade class and a second grade class and a third grade class 5 years down the road.
That's right.
And so you've got to be flexible. That's all part of that preparation. And so you start planning early. Let's talk about building leadership teams, getting your volunteers. What are some of the things that you have found to be successful in not just recruiting volunteers, but assimilating them, getting them involved, and keeping them involved?
For me, it's about relationships. I have created relationships, again, with our, what I will call department leaders. That relationship of, I trust you. I'm asking you to do this because I know you have the ability to do this, and I don't have to be on your back and tell you. If you have questions or you need feedback from me, always reach out. But really make those relationships so you know this person can handle it. This person can do this job. I don't have to be involved in that. But then answer every question. Not one question is a dumb question. And I'll tell people, if you've got any concerns or you don't really know how the Bible school experience is going to work for the week, reach out to me. Call me. We'll talk it out. I'll let you know kind of what that looks at.
Well, there's two things too there that you're talking about. That's the delegate, and again, you've indicated this multiple times, delegating responsibility.
Yes.
Which to me is a big deal. When you've got people that you trust in places that you trust them, there's no need to micromanage them. I think you can testify if Jenny, as a VBS director at our church, has questions that she wants my opinion, she'll ask, but I don't hang over your shoulder saying, do that this year, do this year. I trust you in that position.
Yep.
You trust your leaders in that position. And then the other thing you was indicating at the end that's a big deal is that clear communication.
Absolutely.
So people know what your expectations are. One of the things, and I may be getting ahead of myself, that I love about the way that you organize our Bible school, and I don't know if you know this right off the top of your head, we've got so many different department legs.
Yes.
So you've got your kitchen crew, your craft crew, your security crew, and talk a little bit about what that looks like and how that everybody kind of knows what their role are.
Yep.
And they know what's expected.
So for instance, our craft person, she is a very artistic, creative person. She doesn't tell me what the crafts are going to be. She might ask my opinion on a couple of things, but I know that she has the vision to understand what a 3 and 4-year-old can do. What is their ability level? What is their interest level? The same with a 9 and 10-year-old. She is capable of doing that. And every church has somebody in it. You may not know who that person is because you haven't been talking to anybody about Bible school. But I know that she understands what those needs are. And I simply funnel her 50 to 60 volunteers, and she doles them out to whatever age. And we do give our volunteers an opportunity to say, I would really prefer to work with the 7-year-old group. My daughter's in that group, or my neighbor's children are in that group, or I really don't want to be with the 3 and 4-year-olds. But we give our volunteers an opportunity to do that. Our kitchen leader, everybody knows Miss Judy. She understands what it's going to take to provide dinner every single night, and then what kind of snacks we do. We try to be accommodating for certain dietary restrictions, and they handle all of that. I don't have to worry about them making a menu that's going to work. And we don't try to please everybody. As I say, we're not a restaurant. If you didn't get what you like for dinner, stop at Weigel's on the way home. You won't starve. It'll be fine.
So suffice to say, what we attempt to do is we basically, it's almost like working off of an organizational flowchart.
Yes.
We have a VBS director.
Yes.
She has department heads.
That's right.
People that are good in the kitchen. They lead the kitchen.
Yep.
Your craft extraordinaire is coming up with those crafts.
Yep.
Your security leaders are taking care of that. Your game people. And then under each of those department heads, they have volunteers that we feed them.
That's correct.
And that's one of the things that I love about that that volunteer training meeting that we do.
Yes.
Is that we make sure that, and you do breakout sessions that night.
That is correct. At the end, the craft lady, she's going to go over to the side and she's going to meet all of the people who have volunteered for crafts. And that's a great opportunity for her to do some pre-work. She's going to send them home with some homework. I need you to cut these straws into 12, 2-inch pieces or whatever that might be. Same thing for Judy. Judy's going to figure out when she's meeting with her kitchen volunteers who can be here at 3 o'clock to start the dinner prep. Some people can't. They're working.
Right.
They're not going to get here until right at 6 o'clock. So they're going to be our snack people. So she can organize her list and know who do I have available and what can I assign these people to do.
And it makes your job so much easier.
Absolutely, because I don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
That's not, I tell people all the time, and I know they don't believe it, the actual week of Bible school, aside from all the crazy, kooky things that happen, which they always pop up, that's my easiest week. Because I'm doing the least amount of hands-on work. It's those volunteers that are in the trenches.
It's funny, Jenny, because we are literally getting ready to have a ministry dinner. We're wanting to start a sports ministry called Crossroads Sports Ministry, and I am literally facilitating. I expect that what's going to happen, we're going to have 100 volunteers to run a sports ministry.
Yes.
From coaches to referees to concessions to all that we want to accomplish. And it's new. We're not even launched it yet. I'm literally building that the kind of the way we do Bible school.
Good.
So that we have a sports ministry director.
Yep.
And then under him, we have a basketball director, a soccer director, a flag football director. And then under each of those directors, there's football referees, there's basketball referees, there's soccer referees. So if you can organize it that way, then what it does is off the leadership, it literally takes that.
Absolutely.
I was literally out last week at a poll and somebody asked me about a sign. And she said, I'm a VBS director. And this is what she told me, a smaller church. And this is what she told me. She said, I need the sign because we have to make our signs. We have to do our crafts. We have to do it all. Oh. And there's a better way to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
There is such a better way to do that. And volunteer recruitment,
yes,
which you say is building the relationship with those people.
Yes.
Trust-based environment, getting the right people onboarded. And then the training it's a big deal.
Yes.
And then you've got registration people.
Yes.
We've not even talked about that yet. Safety protocols. Obviously, the bigger Bible school gets, the more you got to have those.
Yes.
We have, tell them about our nurses station. Who has a nurses station?
We have
at a vacation Bible school?
We do. We have a clinic that is there for anybody. And now this can be, any of the children who might get hurt. If a volunteer, heaven forbid, gets, injured during the job, they can come up to the clinic. We have also some of those that roam. There are a few that sit in the room. They're available no matter what. Then we have some that have a little backpack that they carry with them with a smaller group of supplies, and they go out to where the teens are. They go out to maybe if the 7 and 8 year olds go outside to play a game in the grass, you've got a clinic worker out there with them, and it's available.
Well, and you got 1,100 kids. You're talking allergies,
yes,
bee stings,
yes,
knee scrapes,
sunburns,
twisted ankles, all that goes
all
with
of it.
it.
Exactly.
And so it is and I have watched. I was outside with our teens one night a few years ago when one of our young ladies, she's a young adult now, she just passed out. She was dehydrated, and our security detail and our nurses, they kicked in immediately, took care of that. And so it's a big deal. And we're not saying a church that's a smaller scaled Bible school, you've got to put all that in place. But those are things that you should be thinking about as you grow into a larger scaled Bible school.
You should certainly have a first aid kit on site and at least one person who knows where the Band-Aids are.
One of our big deals is crowd flow, just keeping people coming in and out of the building.
Which doors are it's funny you say that. We talk about you go up Tazewell Pike and you go down Emory Road. That's our stairwells. Yeah. We realized because of the way our church is designed, we were having log jams, traffic jams in the stairwells. And when you have 10-year-olds coming down and 4-year-olds going up, you don't want the 4-year-old to go with the 10-year-old class. And all of a sudden you've lost a kid. And we realized, oh my goodness, we need to designate these stairwells for which ones are for up travel and which ones are down. It's things like that. You find these things out after you've been doing it.
So before we move on to our next segment, can we talk just a second about, we're going to book in Bible school, check in and check out processes.
Yes.
Those are important, in my opinion, regardless of the size of Bible school.
Yes.
Even if you're a smaller ministry, your check-in processes, you should adapt them now as you grow, you're
Absolutely.
more. Tell them a little bit about what ours look like and why the check-in, check-out is so important the larger a Bible school gets.
So the larger Bible school is, the more like the possibility that you're going to misplace a child, which is the worst thing that can possibly happen. And it's not because of the volunteers, lack of oversight. Kids go wherever they want to go, whenever they want to go. And so we do an online registration, and we encourage everybody to do online registration so that when they get to this building, we already know where they belong. When they come in, they're already on a roll sheet, and we have a group of workers who have your child's name on their sheet, and we know who's got, this child, and we know where to send them. We do our 3, 4, and 5-year-old classes. They start out in the sanctuary simply because it's hot outside in the middle of July. Let's just be honest. And it's a lot for those children. So they're in an encapsulated environment. They're trapped in their 4 pews, and they can't go any further than that. So we kind of got them corralled that way. Then our older kids line up outside. We have a tent, and we encourage the parents to walk them to where there's signage out there, and we put the tents up for shade while they're lined up. That was something that was started before I came here, was the march-in ceremony. That was something that was a tradition that Clear Springs had, and they loved it, and it's never been my desire to get rid of that. So it's a great time. We dim the lights. We start the music. The lights come. There's a huge light show going on.
Can I lean into tradition real quick and come back to the light show? Traditionally, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've only really had 3 VBS directors at Clear Springs since 1940s, I believe.
To the best of my recollection, that's correct. The first one was in place for over 40 years. Then we had the next one, I think she was in for 15 years, and then I took it over. So I'm only number 3.
So for those listening, we went from Desi Kitts to Bakita Lakin, and now you've kind of assumed that role. But it's so amazing how over almost, we'll say 90 years of history, 3 vacation Bible school directors, which is wild. But
I know.
So the lights are going off, the kids are coming in.
They come in and they stay with their class, and that is our desire, is those children stay with their group all night long. And we choose to do checkout. A lot of churches, you can drive up and you give them the name and they send your kid out. We don't do that because it's my thought that when they are with their classrooms, that is the smallest increment of children for those volunteers to be in charge of. That's at the point at which I've got 60 kids and they're my responsibility, and I can now contain them within the 4 walls of a room.
In your mind, do you try to prorate an adult to kid ratio at all?
We do try to do that. We typically end up with about 7 adults in every class. Okay. Obviously, the 3-year-olds need more hands than the 10-year-olds. But what we have found is even as the kids get older, the more volunteers you have, the more one-on-one time they can spend with them.
And by the way, I don't think we've addressed this. We're calling ages out. What is the age of Bible school for our church? Who can come? For
our church, it starts at age 3. Now, our nursery is only available to the children of workers. That's 2 and under, people who are working in Bible school. We used to open that up to the community, and it became overwhelming.
It's like a daycare.
It was a daycare, and I was very surprised at how many people would bring a 2-year-old to a church where they know no one and leave them in our care for 2 hours. It was just astounding to me. But so now, ages 3, we go all the way to adults. We are a very unique church in our area in that our Bible school, we offer classes for every age.
Including young adults. High
school, middle school.
Which I love.
We do all of the ages, and that is different. And you need to be honest about your church. If you need those high school and middle schoolers to work in Bible school to make it work, there's no shame in that. Let it go through 5th grade. At our church, we're very fortunate in that we can still minister to that age of kids.
And part of being flexible is there could come a day where we have to start laying into young adults.
That's right.
And that's where I would suspect that we would all work through it and communicate. But if we ever needed those volunteers, some of those kids would have a chance to attend because they're just not mature enough to handle that. And others we may lean into. And so that is something you have to think about and consider. And we are blessed at our church to be able to minister all the way across the board. And it's wild. We'll do a young adults 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and there's 30 or 40 of them.
And they are invested in the song. They want to learn the dance. They're excited. They sit together in the assembly, and
it's amazing.
They're all in. They loved it.
Absolutely. All right, so really quick, checking out. We'll talk about Bible school itself in a minute, but checking out, what does that look like?
We use a security card system, and once your child is registered, if you've done that online, you can stop by. We will start this about the first week of July, before and after every service. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. We will have registration volunteers out there to issue you a card. It is a branded card, so it's different every year, and it will have your child's name written on it by a volunteer who has vetted that you are the person who is
It's
responsible.
the same concept of a school pickup tag.
That is correct. Just like the big tag you're hanging on your rearview mirror, you'll have this small card. Now, you can give that card to anyone to pick your child up.
But without the card, you are without the child.
That's correct. And you will have to come to the office and you have to show your identification, and we will vet and make sure you're the person responsible, and we can issue additional cards for that. But that's how we do it. We keep the kids in the classroom until after 8:30, and a parent has to go to each classroom for kids 10 and under. Our high schoolers, I don't know where, maybe they're going to Wiggles after. I have no idea. I'm sorry. That's your kids are doing what they're doing, but
And for clarity, for those that are listening, we at our church, we do every worker's background checked.
That is correct.
We make sure that we up those every 2 years,
Yes.
I think, and they've got security tags that identify when their last
Yes.
background check happened.
Yes.
In the world we live in, it's important.
It is, our volunteer shirts are coded, color coded. So we have all of the volunteers who are working directly with the children have on a particular color. And we do that mainly because if a child does get separated from their class, they know, I can go to the lady in the green shirt and they can help me find, my class or get back to us. Our security carries, they wear a different color shirt. And then our teens, our middle school and high school workers wear a third color just because they like being different.
No, I do think that from a perspective, it's impressive when you walk in and okay, that's a security guy, that is a teacher, that is a teenager, and you can quickly identify who those people are. We're going to move in. We're a little over halfway done with this, and I want to talk about the gospel approach to Bible school. But before we do, can you just give us a brief rundown, like the 2-minute version of what does a typical Bible school look like? We've talked about check-in, we've talked about check-out, but between those two bookends, what does the rotating classes?
Yes.
Just kind of give me a quick synopsis of what that looks like.
Every child is going to have a time of music. They're going to go, it's a different time during the evening. They're going to go to learn the songs. It's not just the Bible school theme. They're going to learn songs that are age appropriate, and then that's going to be part of our evangelism service at the end of the week when the parents can come and see their kids singing along with their
and it's
their
a
groups.
worship experience.
Absolutely, they have their lesson time in the classroom. Some of these classes, the way their schedule works, they'll have maybe 20 minutes of lesson time. They take a break and go to snacks, or they come back and do a little bit more lesson time. Every child goes down for snacks. Now, we do provide meals every night to anyone. That's to adults, children, anybody who comes to Bible school can get a free meal. We do that from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, but we also offer a snack. And for some kids, they'll tell you it's their favorite. Then every child makes a craft. I firmly, personally believe that a physical reminder is irreplaceable when that child goes home. And I do this with my class on for Teen Kid. They're young. Having that piece of paper and that little thing that they made, they may not remember the lesson until they look at that and go, oh, yeah. Paul, his name was Saul, and he became blind on the side of the road. And that's, that little thing will remind them of that. And
haven't you said before you've got Keaton's old crafts?
I've got every single craft.
As tough
Keaton,
and rough as you are, that sentimentalism, you keep
absolutely.
those crafts.
I have them in a bin. I'm going to send them with him when that's not true. I'm never going to give them to him. Sorry, I'm going to keep them. But they are all in a bin. I've kept every single one he ever did at Bible school.
I love it.
He would still go to crafts now if he wasn't serving every year in music. He would still go to crafts. He still enjoys doing them.
Did they do game time?
They do not do a game time per se, but now
the teens do.
Yeah, the teens do, but the younger classes, sometimes they don't have time, but occasionally the teachers will work that into their night, and they'll take them outside for a quick game as a review of some sort, or do it in the rooms.
Awesome. Anything you want to add about the rotations, the night, what that looks like?
It is, again, for any church, I would encourage you, if you're considering starting back to Bible school, just be honest about what you can accommodate, and do not sell yourself. If you can only do a 1-hour Bible school and that's all you have time to do it. It will be the most productive 1 hour. It'll make a difference in every kid's life.
I would say, even if you're going to, I personally think this is a bold statement, but I think a bad Bible school is better than no Bible school.
Absolutely.
As long as there's a gospel emphasis.
That's exactly. As long as they're hearing about Jesus, they may not have enjoyed the kind of cookies that you had, but you can fix that.
Yeah.
But they've heard something that is life-changing to them.
You can always tweak and make things
That's
better.
it.
Obviously, let's talk a little bit about how to keep the gospel central.
Yes.
This is one of the most important parts of Bible school. We were talking about a training night.
Yes.
Where at that training night every year, we specifically talk about how we want every Bible school worker, regardless of their position, to be prepared and ready to share the gospel. Because Bible school is a gospel-emphasized ministry. Talk a little bit about how and this is one of the things that Jenny and we share this same passion, and that is we do not believe that Bible school is an opportunity to hang kids over hell and scare them to death and make some false profession.
Absolutely.
We want spirit involvement, Holy Ghost involvement. But talk a little bit about our philosophy as a church on the balance of knowing when a child is ready and when they're not quite ready.
So it is important to understand what you're going to get these social cues from children. Kids are followers. A lot of times you will have one or two leaders and then you have 30 followers. And so we do have to be mindful of this is not something that you are waiting until Friday night, the evangelism service, to decide whether this child is actually fallen under conviction. You need to be noticing that all week.
Yeah.
Pay attention to these kids if you're not the one teaching and you're just a helper, watch the faces of these children and really see if something is clicking there, if they are really getting it, and if they have questions. Give them time to ask questions. Take a child in the hallway and just say, was there a question that you wanted to ask by yourself? Get them away from the other children. We have to be but honestly, the evangelism part of that starts with the curriculum. Really read over, before you choose a curriculum, read what the lessons are, read what the scripture is, read how they're doing that. One thing I love about the curriculum we use here at Clear Springs is that every single night, for those 5 lessons, it gives you a whole little section on how can you tell the gospel story tonight. Yeah. And it's not, when I was in Bible school, you didn't get saved till Thursday night. That was when the Thursday lesson was the day that they talked about salvation. But for here, I want a child who comes in and on Monday night they're under conviction. I want them to be fed that. And our evangelism training talks to our workers about, one, using discernment to understand where is a child. If a child comes forward and they can't tell you, verbalize to you why they came forward, I just wanted to pray, then just pray with them.
Sure.
Just pray with them. Don't talk about.
It's not about getting commitment cards.
That's right.
It's not about how many kids at the end of the week get saved.
That's right.
It's not a numbers thing.
We're not getting paid based on the number of children who accept Christ. We want to be sure that they understand and really dig into that. But start it on Monday. Don't wait until Friday.
Yeah, and I'm going to go a little pastoral mode here. If I could just speak to the pastors or the VBS directors in the room, we believe that the gospel is powerful.
Absolutely.
Paul said that it is the power unto God. He said that it's moving. I also believe that John 10 says that the devil is a thief.
Yes.
And so here's the deal. We present the gospel. It's got the power to move in the heart of a child. If that child begins to ask a question almost instantaneously because the gospel has moved their heart, it's moved their mind, a worker should not have to say, you know what, let me go find somebody that can help you. Because the scary part is that worker goes to find a preacher or a VBS director or a worker. That child could be engulfed into a craft or a conversation with another 9-year-old by the time they get back, and all of a sudden, that instant moment
it's
that
gone.
God had dealt with them, it's not there now, and so
That's
we got to leverage every opportunity. So we want all of our workers to be poised and ready to share the gospel with a level of discernment.
That's right.
That child is ready or he's not. We try to communicate that with parents and let them know what decisions their child has made and so forth and so on. And so I love that every single lesson, it points to Christ, and all of that is super, super important that we keep Jesus at the center of it. I think one of the things that we got to be real careful with is Bible school's high impact. It's high energy.
Yes.
We have huge skits here.
Yes.
That are complete with all kinds of theatrics, whether it's lighting or whether it's smoke coming out of volcanoes or, there's people coming down aisles. There's videography that's involved. But I think it's really important, Jenny, and I think you do a great job with this, making sure that we do not allow the theatrics of Bible school to overshadow the truth of the message that we're trying to get out.
We have to make sure that these children, you take advantage of the time you have them in the classrooms to pray with them, to teach them about prayer. Some kids come and they say, I have no idea how to pray.
Sure.
And you just have to simply explain. It's just simply talking to God. There's nothing fancy about it.
Absolutely.
It's just and we also have to remember too, the scripture, when they're doing their memory verses, tell them, I don't want you just regurgitating the words. I want you to really capture what that means. I am big on summarizing. I like to tell kids when we're going through a piece of scripture and I say, okay, here's what this part says. This little section here, I don't need for you to tell me just what the words mean. I want you to understand the meaning behind it. And that's why it's so important when they're in the classrooms, take advantage of the time, read their body language, read their facial expressions and help them understand what it is you're trying to impress upon them.
That's good. What would you say as a word of encouragement as we kind of bring this down to a head over the next 5 or 10 minutes? What would you say as a word of encouragement to a VBS director?
I would say don't give up and feel overwhelmed and feel like you have to do everything, because you simply do not. There are people who are available and able. They may not come to you and say, hey, I'd really like to do this really big job. But I can promise you from my experience, when I have gone and asked someone face to face and said, I'm not going to tell you God led me to you, but I am going to tell you that I feel like this is a great opportunity for you. And I feel like you are the person who can do this. 90% of the time they will say, you know what? I think you might be right. Yeah. And they are always willing to do. I have so many people who will do. They say, and they mean it, they will do anything I ask them to do. Sure. Would you go out in my car and, I just need you to wipe the tires down because it's really important for, okay, just show me where the stuff is. They'll do people whatever. Want to be led. They do. They want to be asked. And sometimes, and I'm kind of one of these stubborn people, and I say, I'm not going to go to anybody and ask them, are you going to work in Bible school? Because they should have already registered. Nope. There are times when I go and say, are you going to work? You haven't signed up yet. Is it just an oversight on your part? Are you out of town? What's the reason? But go to the people that you know that God has put in your path. Use them. Use them for what their purpose is.
And ask. So let's go Bible on them. I'll give the first part of the Bible. You give the second. You have not because you...
Ask not.
That's right. You just got to learn to ask
That's
people.
Right.
What would you say to a VBS volunteer? Somebody's listening. They've been praying about getting involved. Their churches, they're starting to put the summons out. We need volunteers. We need volunteers. They're capitulating, trying to decide, am I going to do it or not? What would you say to that volunteer?
I would say, you will never, ever, ever lose by working for Christ. That you might give up 5 minutes of your time, but I promise you God will give you back abundantly over and above anything that you can give to him, whether it's time, money, your efforts. Don't be afraid to just get involved, and don't be intimidated. I tell people, they say, oh, I'm just not good at teaching. Well, then you can do crafts.
Yes.
There is a job for every single person in this church during Bible school, and there is in every other church. There's a job for everybody.
All right, I'm going to be careful saying this, but it's your chance to light them up, Jenny. This is your chance. What would you say to the pastor whose church is begging him to do Bible school, but he's holding out on him because he's afraid to make that launch? What would you say to him?
Why do you not believe in your people more? Yeah. Why do you not believe in the power of God to make this happen in your church? God can do amazing things, and you're not giving him an opportunity to show you.
That is so good. All right, rapid fire questions at the very end, just for fun, okay? Yes. Favorite VBS theme that you've ever been the director of, right off the top of your head?
For me, it's Cowabunga Farms.
Cowabunga Farms. Yes. What did you love about it?
I loved the fact that it mixed a farm life, the farmer, with he was a beach bum, and I loved that.
Okay. Yeah. Most chaotic VBS moment you can think of?
It was probably when you thought you broke my kid's tooth.
Oh, gosh.
It was hysterical.
Tell the story really fast.
So Keaton had broken his teeth when he was 8.
Previously.
He had broken 2 of his front teeth, and we had this bonding thing going on for years. We were just putting patches on them, and Justin had no way of knowing that. And he tapped him with the microphone, tapped Keaton's mouth, and one of the pieces of bonding came off, but Justin thought he had broken his tooth.
I thought I straight broke his
tooth.
And
we went with it for a little while. I'm not going to lie. We did let him think
and
that
this
he
is
had
on the
broken
stage
his
in front of everybody.
in front of everybody. And everybody was looking, and Keaton was pointing at the missing part of his tooth, and Justin was mortified. So we did, we brought in some security. Actually, our new Knox County sheriff was one of his bodyguards the next night. He brought him in, brought his UT helmet, and protected him, and so I was very thankful for that.
Favorite VBS snack?
Oh, for me, it's the little wafer cookies. I still use them on Wednesday nights. They're my favorites.
Okay, yeah, we have slushies here, which is a big deal.
Yeah, everybody goes. The slushies are too cold for me, but for me, it's the wafer cookies.
But as a child, I went to church where VBS was a big deal. not as big as it is here, but like it was certain meals every single night. So like Monday night was always like peanut butter and jelly. Tuesday night was always hot dogs. Wednesday night was always bologna. But I will never forget Thursday nights at our VBS was always crystals. As crazy as that sound, they'd buy 500 crystals. Yeah. And I don't even really like crystals, but it will forever be etched in my mind as a VBS food. One word to describe VBS.
Exciting.
Love it. One thing every single VBS needs.
It needs people. We got to have people.
And then the biggest encouragement for the overwhelmed VBS worker.
Your work will not go out and remain out there in the world. God will take every seed that you planted, and you may not see it, but God will bring it back. Nothing will go out void.
Yeah. I think VBS directors are almost like kindergarten teachers. You just don't forget them. You remember them.
I think
You've
so,
already
yeah.
referenced yours. I remember ours growing up. And so I'm sure that for many years to come, my children and countless of number of kids around East Tennessee will still be talking about Miss Jenny.
I hope so.
Years and years down the road.
I do.
Of course, one of the things that we're hoping to do, Jenny, in the very near future is we're wanting with our little children's book that we do on the adventures of Wendell and Dalton, we want to do a VBS edition.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
And we want to
Miss
honor
Desi.
all of our VBS directors through the years.
Yes.
And because I think it's a big deal. It's a big importance. So in conclusion, any last thing you want to say about VBS before we wrap it up?
I just want to say, I want to encourage people, if you're not able to volunteer, that's fine, but come to Bible school somewhere. If you don't come to our church, pick a Bible school and go and be there. But our church will give you a lesson. You know, adults will have a lesson each night. They have their own class. Just be a part of it. And I would encourage anybody who's been a regular member of our church, you don't have to be a member of Clear Springs to work in our Bible school, but you do have to be regularly attending. But I would encourage you to just take a chance on volunteering this year.
Jump in.
There's nothing, you just won't understand until you've done it. You won't get it.
And Jenny, one last question. Would you make yourself, if there's somebody listening, they're not even from the state of Tennessee, they're listening from Colorado, they're listening from South Carolina, would you be willing to make yourself available via email if somebody wanted to email you a question?
Absolutely.
You can overworked,
absolutely.
Overwhelmed, underworked.
Yeah.
Overworked.
Any advice if you have questions about how to structure your classes, I can tell you what's worked best for us. I can tell you some other things that we tried that didn't work so well. Sometimes failure is a great teacher. So I would be happy to, if anybody wants to reach out to me via email, it's jenny@clearspringsbaptist.net. You can shoot me an email. You can call the church office and get that email if that was too fast.
So if you want to take advantage of that, be sure that you do. Jenny@clearspringsbaptist.net. And or you can reach out to me and I can put you in contact with her. As we close today, I want to encourage every pastor and every volunteer, every church member, ministry leader listening, never underestimate what God can do
Absolutely.
through a vacation Bible school. A simple invitation, a smiling volunteer, a Bible lesson, a worship song, a prayer, a craft made out of popsicle sticks.
Yes.
You have no idea the impact that may make long-term on the heart and mind of a child. They can become eternal turning points in a child's life. VBS is not glorified babysitting.
No.
It's ministry, it's outreach, it's discipleship, it's evangelism. And when the decorations are all tore down and everything begins to go away and you pack it up for the next year, just remember you've made a lasting impact in the hearts and the minds of people, the next generation for many, many, many years to come.
Absolutely.
So thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If this conversation has encouraged you or helped you or given you practical ideas for your own vacation Bible school, make sure you share the episode with your ministry team, your volunteers, your church leaders. And if we can ever help you, reach out to us. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of